Welcome if you're joining in. We got an amazing show tonight. This is the second last live stream before we announce the contest winner on February 7th, this Sunday. We're going to talk about the reason Bunky Life came to be. It's going to be an amazing, amazing show. Don't you dare go anywhere. How's the weather where you guys are at? Here in Erin? Gorgeous. We're going to start in just a few seconds. If you're tuning in live, if you want to throw in where you're from, how's the weather where you were at? Somebody's about to get a winter storm in Hampton, Ontario. Nice, Brian. It's freezing cold where David Kozicki is. Very cool. I'm going to play one song and then we got snow, hail, rain, and now beautiful. Says Amy Sarah Wolvet. Very cool. All right, let's play this song. This is a sad song. Her freckled face with a smile that lights up the world, and her favorite dress, she's a typical 6-year-old girl, and she's on a date with her dad in a sports bar on Sunday, twice a month unless something comes up. Chocolate and milk with her fries. Here's a mud in your eye. She can order whatever she wants. Well, don't be surprised she marries a guy who loves football but never looks her in the eye. She's on a date with her daddy in a bar on Sunday afternoon. Her mama's feeling guilty. When they split, it tore her daughter apart. She bites her tongue when she hears about him, 'cause she knows they'll break both of their hearts. And she's on a date with her dad in a sports bar on Sunday, once a month if nothing comes up. He's watching the game on a TV over her shoulder and texting his latest sweetheart. Don't be surprised she marries a guy who loves football but never looks her in the eye. She's on a date with her daddy in a bar on Sunday afternoon. A few years past, they lose touch, and she's got a family now. But Father's Day's coming right up. She gets the courage to call him somehow. Now she's on a date with her dad in a sports bar on Sunday, once a year, so they can catch up. She's brought some pictures of his granddaughter's freckled face and a man in her life that she loves. Why is he surprised she married a guy who loves swing sets, recitals, and easy baked pie? She's on a date with her daddy in a bar on Sunday afternoon. She's on a date with her daddy in a bar on Sunday afternoon.
Hi, I'm David Fraser, founder of Bunky Life. We're in the building industry, but what we're famous for are small log cabins called bunkies that can be easily built in a weekend without a permit or a second mortgage. Ultimately, we help our clients create extra space for more meaningful connection. Yes, we help our clients get a cool bunkie. But if you think it's just about the bunkie, you've already missed the point. Really what this is about is creating the space and time for more meaningful connection, and having a bunkie is just part of that journey. It's not just about the space, it's about what happens in the space, how it enables more connection. It allows you to spend that quality time with family and friends. It allows you to be there for each other in both senses of the phrase. We are the market leaders in educational videos and content, and we also provide an easy to build or built for you Bunky kit that enables people to have more space to connect. The Bunky is often the difference between that friend or family member coming or not, being there for each other or not. The reason we do this is because we believe family comes first. And when it comes to being there for each other, there are no do-overs. That's one of the reasons we've decided to partner with Ronald McDonald House Charities of Canada in their goal of keeping families close. Because ultimately, we want to bring about a world where families everywhere have a place to unite, unwind, and unplug. I get up every morning excited to help families create extra space for meaningful connection. Thanks for listening, and can't wait to hear from you. All right, cool. So we're going to get into a pretty awesome discussion today, and I'll open up the kimono a little bit and share my personal story, our family's personal story. And before we get to that, I'd love to hear if you guys win the bunkie or you buy a bunkie. What's the first thing you're going to do as soon as it's built? What are you going to do with it? Who are you going to have over? What's the use case here for your bunkie that you've been dreaming of for the past month now? The contest has been running off roughly 3 weeks. So I'd love to hear that. If you comment below, what's the first thing you're going to do with your bunkie? So, once again, Sunday, February 7th, we're going to be announcing the winner. It's going to be really cool. It's a very, very short agenda tonight. I don't know if it'll go a full hour, but we shall see. I'll share the agenda with you. Okay, so I'm going to share a story of one of our clients that came by at the barbecue this summer and shared their story. And then we're going to talk about a little bit like what's coming up. We basically have 2 live streams left after this one. So talk about that, and then I'll share the story of how Bunky Life came to be, and then I'm going to talk about the Bunky Life Gives campaign for 2021, which if you are new, I'll explain it all. So without further ado, I'm going to share, this is one of my favorite client stories.
So we're Jennifer and Dave Smith. We purchased a Bunky from Bunky Life. We purchased the 2019 model without loft. We have a cottage up in northern Ontario, about 2 hours north of North Bay, that doesn't have electricity or easy access, and Bunky Life was able to deliver our bunkie right to our property with no fuss. It worked out really well. It was all packaged nice and neatly and in a weather-resistant sort of form until we could build it. And it was a very good experience, and I'll let Dave talk about the building part of it.
Well, we built it as a family. None of us experienced builders, and 4 of us, and it was a very positive experience. We learned a little as we went, and we might might have done a couple of tiny tweaks otherwise, but I think it's quite straightforward, and it was literally a weekend project, so it worked out very, very well. We leveled the frame in the base in advance, and then we built over maybe a day and a half on a long weekend, and then we stained the following weekend. So things went very, very well.
We would really suggest using the stain that was recommended to us by Bunky Life, which is a company called Sanson. The stain went on really easily, and it was really nice to work with, really easy to clean up as well. So all the recommendations we tried to follow, and the recommendations all paid off. The inside of the Bunky looks immaculate. The wood is so nice and light and clean and kind of rustic looking, that, you know, I think anybody who stays in our Bunky will think it's a special place to stay.
Alrighty, so just a quick overview of what's coming up next. So tonight is how Bunky Life came to be, obviously, number 4. And we have number 5, which is 2 days from now, the unveiling. See our 2021 lineup. We've got some stuff that's going to blow your mind. And it's all coming together. So tune in for that one for sure. If you're interested in kind of something like different off the beaten path kind of Bunkies. We'll be explaining that stuff and going into a little bit of detail on Thursday. It's for the early adopter kind of people out there. If you consider yourself an early adopter, it might be interesting to tune into that one. And then, of course, we'll announce the winner on Sunday, February 7th at 7 p.m. Sunday, February 7th at 7 p.m. And after that, our epic winter sale kicks off. So it's basically Monday the 8th until Valentine's Day, and then we're closing up shop. We're shutting her down. We're not going to extend the sale past that. My wife was telling me today, she's like, Dave, make sure you mention once the sale's done, it's done. Because sometimes people think, oh, I'll wait until 3 days after the sale or a week later and still want that price. This year especially, we got to be kind of anal about it because just the way supplies are going to go, I think. So if you want to purchase a Bunky for this spring or summer or fall, it's the best time to order is now. And we can hold it for you until whenever you're ready. But I won't harp on that point, but my wife wanted me to harp on that point. So let's get into how Bunky Life came to be. And it's kind of a cool story. So for those of you who don't know, I'm 36 years old now. I'm married. I have 3 kids, and we live out in the country, just about an hour outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And so when we first bought our house, we had a spare bedroom, and my parents, who live about 3 hours away, and Carrie's parents live about 3.5 hours away, would come up and visit, and they'd stay in the spare bedroom. Everything was fine. Then we had our first daughter, and there was no room at the inn, per se, for mom and dad. So we were throwing people on couches and blow-up air mattresses and such. And my mom started sending me these, kind of terse texts. Dave, this is not working. Dave, I'm your mother. I can't sleep on the floor. So she started sending me tiny home listings and yurt advertisements and such. And so I got the message, and I started looking into what are the options. And tiny homes were like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least, more money than I had at the time. They were out of reach financially for me. I looked into like a trailer kind of scenario that kind of felt a little too ghetto for me. And then I looked into yurts, and that felt a little too hippie for me. And then I kind of discovered the idea of the Bunky, which is a little kit that you can put together yourself, put in some labor yourself, and you've got a really workable solution. So this is kind of our hill looking down from where the Bunky is. And we built our first Bunky in 2015. This is me, my father-in-law, and my father. We got this thing up in a day, and then another day of kind of finishing and staining and stuff. And so that's how it started. And being an entrepreneur, I went from, building for mom and dad to, hey, how can we make some money with this? So I started renting my Bunky out on Airbnb a little bit. And then that naturally led to getting a few more, building a few more. And then people started asking, well, can you make me a Bunky? Get me a Bunky, right? And so that's how the whole thing started back in 2017. And then 2015 is when we first started renting. So kind of spiraled from there. And fast forward to today, we've had this amazing Bunky Life community kind of grow up around us. We've sold Bunkies all the way to BC, all the way out to Nova Scotia. We've managed to, we were invited to appear on HDTV this past fall. We've just, some more things have gone viral. We have hundreds of thousands of people entering our contests, and just a really great vibe overall. And the feeling that I get from it is like just excitement. If I could encapsulate in one thing, it's exciting to see like this little thing that was just your solution to your problem became the solution to so many other people's problems. And so when I talk about our clients' problems, I think we have really three major problems, and it's the exact same story with me. Not enough space. So maybe the family's getting bigger and the cottage is not getting bigger. That's a common story. Or, maybe we thought we were working in the office. It turns out we had to work from home all year. That's another common story. And so the Bunky is the solution to that in a lot of cases, that problem. And what I found was I didn't know what I didn't know. So I needed extra space, but I didn't know how to go about it. Do I need a permit? How do I build this thing? What should I go? Should I do the yurt? Should I do the tiny home? What should my budget be? And so I had to do so much work to figure all this stuff out. There just wasn't any back in 2015, 16. There was no one to really help you with this stuff. So I think those two major problems, not enough space and not enough information of how to solve the problem, are the key problems. And they kind of combine to not enough connection, right? In the case of the family that can't host their mom and dad, like I couldn't host my parents. They either sometimes they wouldn't come at all. Sometimes they would come and just shorten the stay to like one day so they wouldn't have to sleep on the couch. And I think what keeps my clients up is the idea that their kids, their grandkids, the people that are important to them, everyone's growing up and we're missing it. So for us, it was that solution. It was able to connect the grandkids and the grandparents together. And we realized, as I'll share later, like when you're going through a tough time, when you're going through different situations and life events, you need your family there. There's just some things that can't be replaced. And that's one of them. And so, we sell a really sweet Bunky, I think, right? But if you think it's just about the Bunky, right, you're not getting the full picture here. Like, really what it's about is creating a space and creating time together, meaningful time together. And Bunky's part of that journey, right? It's not about necessarily like the Bunky itself. It's about what that Bunky enables, right? The conversations, the connections, the quality time, right? Ultimately. So for us, it allowed our parents to be there for us, like physically and emotionally there. So what we do, how we help, is really three things. So number one, we're definitely the leader when it comes to education and information. I saw that as a big problem out there that needed to be solved. So when you type pretty much any Bunky related issue into YouTube or Google, there's a video of me explaining what I had to go through or how I solved that problem, or one of my clients solved that problem in some cases. So we're the leaders in terms of educating people. And our mission is that whether or not people buy a Bunky kit from Bunky Life is not the important thing. The important thing is we want to be that go-to source for helpful, honest, straightforward, helpful information. I said helpful twice in that sentence, but you get what I'm saying. So that's one thing that we add. And then I think another thing is we add, we'll call them inspiration and reminders. So they're not really the Bunky, but they're just reminders of like how important connection is. So one thing we put out just recently is our little connection cards. And these are kind of like, your standard playing cards that you'd bust out at the cottage, ace, queen, king, etc. But they're also, each card has its own little question. So something like, what do you think the best thing about being a kid is, right? And they're all kind of like, some of them are funny, some of them are morbid, some of them are goofy. Like, they're all different emotional tones, but you can play with kids. We'll play them with our 7-year-old. So you can kind of play cards and then at the end of every hand do one of the questions or however you want to do it. And they're really fun just to get conversation going. And that's what it's all about. And so that's one thing that we sell, just kind of as a fun extra. And then about a month ago, I released my first book. So this is Bunky Life Extra Space. Create a beautiful space for more time and connection with your family. So what this is kind of a picture book with lots of cool stories of clients, lots of cool photos of their Bunkies and such. And throughout this larger subsection of stories and how to build a bunkie and all the cool things in this book, there's also kind of my family story, which I'll share in just a moment, of kind of how Bunky's got us through a crisis. So that's kind of another thing too. And because we partner with Ronald McDonald House, like all these little things that we kind of sell, they're not really profit drivers for us. They're just like fun things. So we donate all the proceeds from this stuff to Ronald McDonald House, which we'll get into later as well. So, you put these things together. The core product that we sell obviously is the DIY Bunky kit or a build for you Bunky solution. So, they look cool on the outside. They're very, very functional. In a lot of cases, you don't need a permit. And they finish really sexy on the inside as well, I think is a huge advantage. And they can be as unique and creative as you are. So that's kind of our core product. And a lot of people ask us, like, how did you get into this, right? And I told the story about how it originally was scratching our own itch, right, as a family. But what I didn't predict was how important it would be, how it would build the bridge between us and our family coming to support us. So we come from a belief that family comes first. And when it comes to being there for each other, you don't get second chances, right? So Carrie and I have always had this dream of having like a big family. I'm the oldest of 4 brothers. Carrie has a brother, and it was always kind of like house in the country, big family. That was always kind of the dream for Carrie, and it became my dream after I married her. This is my wife here, Carrie, repping some Bunky Life gear. And so moved out to Erin. We were married for about 3-4 years, and that was time like, yeah, let's make some babies. So we had our first daughter, Evie. Let me see if I can get a picture of her here. This is Evie. You may recognize her from some videos. She's probably better than me in front of a camera, to be honest. So Evie's now 7. And so we had her, and everything went smooth, swimmingly, fantastic. It was great. She didn't sleep very much. There was a lot of crying involved. But beyond that, really, really good. And so, we kind of went doing our parental thing. And then, about a year and a half passed, and we thought, okay, maybe it's time to start thinking about number 2, right? Maybe it's time to start trying again. So that was great, and we got pregnant pretty much right away. And then I remember this very vividly. We were going in for the 10-week ultrasound, and we went to the doctor's office in Georgetown. And so Carrie goes into the thing to get the initial thing, and then I'm out in the waiting room, and I'm chatting with another guy. He's like a first-time dad, and I'm like the grizzled old veteran, right? I'm talking about, being a dad's the best, and yada yada, and talking up that whole thing. And I remember distinctly, Carrie comes out of the thing, and her face is all dark. She goes, "We gotta go." And so we found out at around 10 weeks that the baby's heart had stopped a couple weeks prior to that, and it was a real surprise for us, a real shock. Didn't see that one coming. We're both kind of healthy people. Didn't have any history of miscarriage in the family. And but the more we found out about this thing, the more we realized this is a pretty common thing, and people don't talk about this thing. But it happens to a lot of people. So when that happened, we kind of regrouped. We basically tried again right away, more or less, and we got pregnant right away again. And then, we held our breath. We went I think we went a little earlier. We went around 8 weeks, and we found out that we had lost baby number 2. And that was when it really started to feel like, okay, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's an issue that we don't know about. And when you go through this process, they just say, okay, like they kind of throw what normally works at you. So in our case, that was aspirin and progesterone. It's kind of like the 2 commonly prescribed things. So Carrie took that. We did a lot of praying, and we tried again. And that's when we had Hope, who is our second. And she is just a wonderful kid, just a burst of awesome. This is her. And like most middle children, you can't get a photo of her alone. You have to have her siblings in some frame. But this is the most recent photo I could find of Hope. She's just all smiles and so fun and just a delight. So we had Hope, and it was we kind of thought, okay, we're over this. The solution is progesterone and aspirin. And so we had Hope. A couple years passed, and we thought, okay, big family, let's do this. Let's do number 3. And so at this point, getting pregnant wasn't as joyful. When you've had some miscarriages, you're kind of like reluctant to tell people. You don't really want to announce this, and you don't want to get everyone's hopes up, which is weird. So we went for the 10-week ultrasound, which is kind of like where we lost the last 2 babies. And we're like, just like holding on. And then the ultrasound was fine. The baby was fine. The baby was healthy. And we're thinking, this is great. We're through what we thought was a danger zone. And then a few weeks pass, and everything's looking good. And Carrie, of course, got this home Doppler thing. Listen to the baby's heartbeat. Terrible idea. Don't ever get that thing. So there was one day, it was New Year's Eve, 2017. And I was supposed to be playing a wedding that evening. And she put the home Doppler on. And no heartbeat. She couldn't find the heartbeat. And that's where, as the dad, you gotta be like, well, there's probably a reason. Probably your machine's not working, or baby turned, or whatever. But we kind of scrambled to try to, on New Year's Eve, trying to find a doctor that'll see us. We had to pay some random 3D ultrasound place that normally is like a thing you do to print off for your family. And I remember we went in there, and they did the 3D ultrasound, and they can't say what's happened, but it's pretty obvious there was no heartbeat. And there's these little bears. They sell you bears that can, you click them, and then it'll play the sound of your baby's heartbeat, which is a beautiful gift if you have a baby that has a heartbeat. In our case, we didn't. And I remember Evie and Hope. Evie was quite young at the time, and she saw these bears, and she's like, I want these bears. And we're like, no, you can't have the bears. You can't have a bear. And we left that place, and I had to go play this wedding, and pretend like I was okay, and pretend like I was happy for this couple. And I was happy for the couple, but it was just a tremendous loss. And when you lose a baby that far along, we were 15, 16 weeks, there's a lot of complications I won't go into. And we didn't have any reasons. We didn't have any explanation of why this was happening. And we thought about quitting, and we talked to medical experts. We talked to, family members, tons of people, and everyone said, we don't know the answer. We got a bunch of tests done, but nothing really came conclusively. But let's just try again. So we gathered up courage again, and then July 2018, we were about 16 weeks along again, and we lost baby number 4. And that was pretty much rock bottom for me and Carrie. It was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. I remember this is around the time Bunky life was just really taking off, and so I was running around building everyone's bunkies for them and all this stuff. And I would wake up sometimes in the morning and go, how am I going to get through this? I as soon as you wake up and you're aware of your surroundings, it just feels like this weight just, and I had to, as the husband, be supportive of Carrie and help her through this when it just felt like I was falling apart. And we are so fortunate that we have a family that, although they live far away, both sides of the family were just every single time we lost a baby, they would drop what they were doing, come and stay with us, which was so key to getting through it. And they'd come and stay in the bunkie, or they would stay with us and we'd stay in the bunkie. And it made all the difference having, Carrie's mom here to give us a hug, and having my mom here to help around the house. little things like just taking the other kids so that we could just get 5 minutes to talk about this was so key. So after baby number 4, we seriously considered quitting. I mean, that's what kind of everyone was saying. Like, my mom was like, "You guys are gonna try again?" Like, but we didn't want to give up, and we didn't have answers, but we decided that we're gonna give it one more shot, and this was gonna be our last shot. That's what we kind of decided on. And so, right before that, I was talking to all my friends, and I was saying, guys, like, we're struggling here. And I remember I have a good friend who's older, wiser. They had actually lost 6 babies before they had their wonderful daughter, super healthy daughter now. But they were only able to have 1 child, and they lost 6 before that through miscarriage. And I remember saying, like, man, I don't know if I can do this again. And I don't know. I want to give up, right? And I remember him saying, like, Dave, here's the reality of the situation. We don't know why this is happening, but what do you think your babies that died would say to you if they could? They can't say anything, but what would they say to you if they could? Do you think they would say, "Hey, just give up, just jump down in the grave with us and mourn us until you die with us"? Or do you think they would say, "Dad, we can't experience the sunshine on our face. We can't experience the joy of living. We can't hug mommy and tell her that it's going to be all right. We can't comfort your sister and explain that, we would have really liked to meet our sisters. But you can." And what he was saying was true, that I still had life, and I couldn't just mail it in and just numb myself, and I couldn't just give up. So we got a lot of more medical advice, which was pretty inconclusive. Talked to a lot of friends. We decided we're going to try again. We're going to try, like I said, this will be our last shot. So we got pregnant again right away, and then about, I'd say, I don't know, somewhere early on the pregnancy, my wife is very proactive. She's Googling things. She's looking at things. Maybe I have this, maybe I have that. And she ended up basically self-diagnosing herself. It's a long story, but she looked at her blood test from the past 5 years and noticed an irregularity that no one else caught. And so she figured out, okay, we have this, she has this issue. She got tested for that, and it came back conclusive. She has this issue. It's pretty rare. Technically, it's called a cancer of the blood, although she's totally fine. She's going to have a lifelong life, hopefully. So it's not life-threatening, but it was likely causing the babies to die. So there's this really expensive drug that she injected in her belly once a week, I think, roughly. And she started doing that while the baby's like in the belly. Like it felt like an airlift kind of emergency. And we brought the baby to term. We had the baby in January of last year. So Declan was born, and she's now a year old. This is her. This being right after she was born. And the kiddos and Declan. And this is her about 2 months ago, roughly. Very cute, chubby, happy baby. And so, that's been our journey so far. And Carrie had to go downtown for all these crazy checkups and injections and such while we were there. We ended up having Declan at Mount Sinai because it's like she's high risk and there's a lot going on. So when we were having Declan in January, about a year ago, I was there, and I remember meeting a guy in the elevator that was like staying there. He was from Orangeville area, and he looked really disheveled, and he was talking about how his baby was born super premature, and they had to stay there for about a month roughly, and how crazy that was. And he was off work and yada yada. And I was like, how can you afford to stay downtown? And his family was actually staying at Ronald McDonald House, and previously, many years ago, friends of mine had had a healthy baby now, but right before the baby was born, there's some complications. They needed a long extended stay at Ronald McDonald House as well. And it really made the difference for this family. And the guy in the elevator and my friends. And I realized, like, having gone through this experience, that, our little bunkie up on the hill was kind of like this Ronald McDonald House, and we didn't even really know it. It's like an area where our parents could come and stay and be close to us while we were going through something really terrible. And so that's kind of why we've decided to partner with Ronald McDonald House. It's something we firmly believe in. Their goal is keeping families close. And it's made all the difference in Carrie and I's life to get through this crazy tragedy. I'm not telling you this to try to get like sympathy votes. I'm just trying to say this is like what we've gone through and the dramatic impact it's had. And the Bunky Life community coming alongside of us, supporting us through all this stuff has been huge too. So that's kind of our story, and why what we've tried to do is take our well, I don't know, let's say tragedy, but take our situation and turn it for good. That's kind of the goal. And so basically, as a result of going through this whole thing, Declan being born, about a year ago, during our last contest, we decided that moving forwards, we'll always, we'll always donate a night stay to a family whenever we make and sell a bunkie. So that's kind of our pledge, and we managed to keep that pledge. Last year as a group, and as a Bunky Life business, we were able to raise over, I think, $37,000 for Ronald McDonald House chapters across Ontario. And so we're going to do the same thing now Canada-wide as we grow into a Canadian-wide company. And there's Ronald McDonald Houses all over Canada. It's a really worthwhile cause. So so that's kind of what I tell my story tonight, because I want to talk about, how it got started, why we do what we do, and then, what the vision is moving forward. So, ultimately we want to bring about a world where families everywhere have a place to unplug, unite, and unwind. And so tonight, I want to give you guys an opportunity. If you want, you can give with us. So there's obviously no obligation, but there's kind of a couple different ways to do that. Number one, hold on. You can get a book, and let me explain what that is. So like I was telling you guys, we have this book. It's a limited edition. Like, there's only about 150 copies made. Most of them are already sold. But you can get one, and if we sell out, we'll make a few more. But basically, I think tonight will be the last run of like the first edition, and then we're going to make a more mass-produced second edition. And each one's going to be signed by the author, which is me. Is it signed? Yeah. Signed by the author, which is me. And so you can buy these. You can buy the connection cards. We'll mail them to you. And like I say, all the proceeds go to Ronald McDonald House. And then, of course, if you want, if you're out there and you've been watching all these live streams and you're like, we need this for the cottage. We need this for the backyard. I need an office, bro. Those type of things. And this is going to scratch your itch and it's going to solve your problem. Then we would love to talk about that. I would suggest doing that before February 14th when we have our big sale on. But our pledges all year from now to the end of time will be donating a night's stay, which is roughly $100 to $200 for each bunkie we sell. And then all the proceeds from the books and the cards are going to go towards Ronald McDonald House as well. And then the third option, let's say you don't need a bunkie, you don't think I'm a good writer, and you don't have any, you don't want to play with playing cards. You can also just donate directly. So we have our own little setup on ronaldmcdonaldcanada.ca or whatever. I'll share. I'll explain how that works. It's pretty straightforward. I did a donation earlier today. I'm going to play the video of me doing that so you can see exactly how to do that. So that's kind of tonight's presentation, more or less. Let me just show you. Okay. I'll finish with this. I get super pumped up to see what kind of generosity is out there. I'm a believer in humanity. I think that good things can happen, especially when we work together, right? So I believe putting family first, giving back is ultimately some of the most fulfilling, satisfying experiences we can have as humans, right? So I hope tonight has inspired you to create more space for connection with people in your life in whatever way that means for you. And we will be reporting all the results of everyone's pledges and donations like we did last year. We'll probably have like an ongoing tally of how we're doing. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to donate if you want to donate directly. Here we go. All right, I'm going to do a quick video here on how to donate to Ronald McDonald House. So what you want to do is you want to type in bunkylife.com/give. That should forward you right to Ronald McDonald House Canada.ca. And we've set up a page here that's just for the Bunky Life 2021 campaign. And so you want to scroll down here. Last year we gave over 35,000 as a group in the business. And this year the goal is 50,000. I think we can do it. So I'm going to click and I'm going to start the small snowball that's going to roll down the hill and become an avalanche here. So I'm going to start it with, I'm going to do $100. And not 50,000, 100. Start with 100. And then you're going to click next step. Type of donation, whether your personal or business is cool. I'm going to leave a comment, sure. Am I making my donation in honor of someone special? I think yes, but I don't want to complicate it, so I'm just going to put no for now. Then you're going to enter your details here, and then you're going to go to billing information. So, Mr. David Fraser. It's automatically typing everything in for me. And then you go to billing information. You're going to enter your details here. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to cut this phase out so you don't see my credit card details. And once that's entered in, you're going to click review and submit. Make sure you click I'm not a robot. There you go. It really is that easy. And then the cool thing about this now, unlike previous years, when you give, it'll show, hey, we got $100. So as we do this together, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it'll all be automatically tracked. So very excited about that. All right, so that's kind of the gist. Now I set up something cool. So before we, if you're tuning in from Facebook, which is a decent chunk of us, if you type in, hold on, that's in the way. If you type in Bunky Life Gives, all one word, what it will do is I will message you. It will automatically message you in about 5-10 minutes. And it'll say, hey, do you want to buy Bunky? Do you want to get the cards? Do you want to donate directly? And it'll send you the how-to and all the links, which is pretty nice and convenient. If you're on YouTube or Periscope or the other platforms we're streaming to, you'll have to do it manually. So let me just type in a few of these addresses. So if you want to get the book, you can go to bunkylife.com/book. There it is, bunkylife.com/book. If you just want to donate directly, go to bunkylife.com/give. And I would love to, if you guys could comment below, Bunky Life Gives. Then there's some social pressure, like, oh, other people are doing it. This is cool. It's not weird to donate money to Ronald McDonald House because of the crying man. It doesn't have to be weird. It can be cool. I think you might have to type just Bunky Life Gives, maybe not hashtag. If you're on YouTube, though, it won't work. You'll have to go to bunkylife.com/give manually and type that into your URL. So those are the two ways to do it. The book is really good. People are giving it good reviews. So it's not just like a throwaway fluff book. It's like a legit book. And it's like very graphic. You know, like lots of cool photos and, you know, and good ideas. Like all the stuff I talk about in all the videos is in this book. Kind of everything you need to know from A to Z is in this book. And it's a lot of cool client photos and stories. So thank you so much to all of our Bunky Life community that like allowed us to come take photos of your monkey all last summer, even though it was COVID year and it was crazy. Thank you so much, guys. We are blessed to have epic clients. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the comments on and hopefully it's positive. Yes, it is. There's tons of people commenting positively. This is so awesome. Okay, so Arthur, thank you. I'm not going to get to everybody. There's so many cool people. Bunky Life Gives. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Hannah. Really, really cool. Oh, and then for those of you who are asking about, we have one more live stream 2 days from now, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk about some really cool. Yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of tonight's presentation. The code word, of course, is family first, and I think I'm not going to take questions tonight, but I'll stay on Thursday night till the very end of time. If you have questions on Thursday night, it's a good time to get them all out, because on Sunday we're going to announce the winner, and I will take questions then, but like thousands of people will probably be tuning in on Sunday, so Thursday will be less busy. So I'll be happy to take any questions you guys have tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, Thursday night. So tune into that one if you're kind of like, you like to see new stuff and interesting kind of new things that we're piloting, and maybe you can be one of the early adopters. Then great. So yeah, whatever you do though, do it tonight before you go to bed. If you have a good feeling and you have that momentum of like, yeah, let's do something, let's do this, do it tonight before you go to bed. That's my advice, because you wake up tomorrow and you get doing things and you'll forget. So even if you just comment Bunky Life Gives, it'll message you and do stuff. So all right. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for letting me share my story, and thanks for listening. We'll see you again Thursday night, and of course, don't miss Sunday. Bye for now.